Hi everybody, this is Shri and welcome back to my channel Vedic Living. Today we are going to talk about the major transit that's happening in this month. I did make a video on the April predictions in which I kind of touched on what is happening on April 13th. It is going to be the transit of Jupiter into the sign of Pisces. Jupiter has been in Aquarius for almost a year. In between, it did kind of transition back into Capricorn. But on April 13th, Jupiter is going to move into Pisces, and it's going to be in Pisces for an entire year. So from April 13th of 2022 till April 21st of 2023, Jupiter is going to be transiting Pisces. So this video is to talk about what this means for you when you look at your chart. So if you don't know your ascendant, then go to my website vedicliving.com and pull up my free chart calculator and put in your information and see where the sign Pisces is for you. Okay, so when I do this particular video, I'm going to talk about what this means for each ascendant sign, or if your moon is in that sign. So for example, when I say if you are an Aries, I mean if your ascendant is in Aries or your moon is in Aries. Okay, both ways it will apply. So, and remember, we are talking about the sidereal degrees of the planets. This is not tropical, this is Vedic astrology, okay? So just remember that, keep that in mind. And if you don't have your chart, you can always go to my website and pull up my free chart calculator and make sure you look at that before you listen to the rest of this video, because you need to know where your ascendant is or where your moon is. Okay, so the first thing, when Jupiter goes into Pisces, remember that is Jupiter's strong position because it's Swakshetra, which means Jupiter is in a sign that it rules. Jupiter rules Pisces, okay? And a little bit from there, Jupiter is going to conjunct Neptune in Pisces. You know, Neptune rules water, Pisces is water. There could be some storms and floods and all at that time for sure. And I think it's happening around the end of April. You can look at my previous video for the April predictions to see the exact date. That could mean that. But, even about that, Neptune stands for spirituality. Okay. So Jupiter with Neptune could mean it can be this incredible spiritual force. You just feel so connected to the other side. You feel like things are finally moving forward. You feel positive. Okay, now let's see what this means for each ascendant. So Aries, if your ascendant is in Aries or your moon is in Aries, Jupiter is in the 12th house. Okay, this means, remember, 12th house is your unconscious mind. So this means this coming year, you're going to be incredibly psychic, incredibly intuitive. You could have vivid dreams, okay? And sometimes, your dreams can be almost like premonitions, right? So make sure when you wake up in the morning, keep a dream journal so you can write down what you dreamt about. Because, when Jupiter is in the 12th house, a lot of times you are really connected to the spirit world and you can get all those messages. So it's very important to keep a dream journal. And also, things are coming to a closure this year for you. Everything that you feel was stuck, was not moving forward, things are going to come to a closure because it's in the 12th house of endings. And also, 12th house rules foreign lands. So you could be traveling to foreign lands in this year. Okay. Now, Taurus, if you are ascendant Taurus or your moon is in Taurus, Jupiter will be in your 11th house this year, which means you're making new friends, you're meeting new people, you're joining new organizations, okay? You're learning how to make groups, you're working in teams and groups, meeting new people, okay? And also when Jupiter is in the 11th house, it will aspect by its fifth aspect and its ninth aspect, it will aspect the third and the seventh house. This means it's a great time for marriage and relationship, okay? And also this can, because 11th house means great gains, you could be coming into some money in this year. And remember, 11th house is not just money that you earn from work. This is great gains. This is huge amounts of money. So that is definitely a possibility with Jupiter transiting the 11th house, okay? Now, if you're a Gemini ascendant or moon, Jupiter is going to be in the 10th house from Gemini. This is incredibly good for career rise. 10th house is your public image, it's your public life. You could get a promotion, you could get a raise, you could get a bonus, or your business could be expanding. Okay, your public image is going to improve. You're going to be at the top of your career this year. And from the 10th house, Jupiter will aspect the second house of money and wealth and the sixth house of work and service. So this will be a great time to, if you're thinking of getting a better job, or you want to get to this better company which pays more or something like that, this is a great year for that. There's usually a career change when Jupiter goes to the 10th house, and it's a change for the good. Okay, especially for a Gemini ascendant. So I think that's amazing. Then if you're a Cancer ascendant or a moon in Cancer, then Jupiter is in the 9th house from your ascendant. This means that you are learning new things. 9th house is all about learning. It's about traveling. You're expanding and you're growing. Okay, you're searching for truth. 9th house is the house of philosophy and religion and the search for truth. So you're traveling to places in search for truth. And you could become closer to your father, because the 9th house it rules the father. You could be teaching, coaching, training people on various things, because that's the 9th house. And you could find a guru, because Jupiter is the spiritual guru, and it's in the 9th house of spirituality. From the 9th house, Jupiter will also aspect your 5th house of children, so you could be closer to your children in this time frame. If you are a Leo ascendant, Jupiter will be transiting the 8th house. This means you could come into some money through other people. 8th house is money that comes to you from inheritance, or from it could be investments, or even money that comes to you from other people. Your spouse could be making more money at this time. That's the 8th house too. Okay, and remember, when Jupiter is in the 8th, is great time for research activity. If you want to research something new, you want to study some new things, you want to learn metaphysical subjects, like I said, you could be starting to do new kind of research and trying to look for the truth. And also, another thing with Jupiter being in the 8th house is it's a great time to be spiritual, because 8th house is your subconscious mind. So that activity in the subconscious mind is really high. So you could really meditate, you could become spiritual, and this is a great time to reflect on all of that. Now, if you're a Virgo ascendant or your moon is in Virgo, then relationship is important, because Jupiter is in the 7th house from Virgo. This is a great year to get married, love, marriage. In fact, in the month of May, along with Jupiter, you have an exalted Venus there too. So the month of May would be great if you want to, meet a new partner or get married, start a new business, partnerships. That's 7th house too. Expand your current business. All of that if you're a Virgo ascendant. Okay. And if you're a Libra ascendant or your moon is in Libra, Jupiter is in the 6th house from Libra. This means it's a time for health and healing. It's a time when you're going to really focus on your diet, your exercise. You want to feel good. You want to take care of your health. You have all these things that you want to do in order to take care of your health and well-being. You're very mindful of it. Okay. And this could also be a great time to work with co-workers, because 6th house stands for co-workers. You could be getting a new pet, because that's the 6th house too. And just generally, this is a great time for health and healing, with Jupiter bringing all its divine knowledge into your 6th house. Then if you're a Scorpio ascendant, Jupiter is in the 5th from Scorpio. So if your moon is in Scorpio or you're a Scorpio ascendant, Jupiter is in the 5th house. This means you're going to expand your creative potential. You're going to really delve into it. You're going to learn how to do new things. You're going to be incredibly creative. Whatever art form that you're pursuing, you'll be really good at that. And you are also going to be very close to your children at this time frame. Okay. You could be having children too. If you don't have children, Jupiter in the 5th house is amazing to bring children into your life. And also you'll be expanding your talent, and just overall just really creative. You have all these great ideas during this time frame when Jupiter is in the 5th house. If you are a Sagittarius ascendant, Jupiter is in the 4th house for Sagittarius. Usually when Jupiter transits the 4th house, Anytime you're a Sagittarius ascendant and Jupiter is transiting your fourth house, you could be moving or you could be renovating your current home. It's always to do with home and real estate. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to, most of the time people do move, but it doesn't mean that you always have to move. It can just mean you're changing something about your current space. You could be renovating, you could be changing things. You would have a great relationship with your mother this year because Jupiter is in your fourth house. It's a great time for family to come together because fourth house is your family. Okay. Now, if you're a Capricorn ascendant, Jupiter is in the third house. This is the time to deal with siblings. You have a great relationship with siblings at this time frame. Third house stands for writing and self-expression. This is a wonderful time to feel inspired and create new written work or, to talk about new things and, anything that has to do with self-expression. And it's also great for theater, drama, any kind of like being on stage. All of that is third house. And also remember, Jupiter in the third house makes you incredibly courageous and brave, and you have strong willpower in this time frame. So any project that you were not able to continue on in the past, you will be able to pick it up this year and finish the work and bring it to a closure. If you are an Aquarius ascendant or you have moon in Aquarius, then this is a great time for money because Jupiter will be in the second house. Okay, so you can be seeing a lot of money coming in. Like I said, you could get a raise, a bonus, or you could make money through certain, side projects or side businesses. You could expand your current business. This is a time to, you could be invited to speak at different places. This is a great time for speaking engagements. And also, because from the second house it will be aspecting the 10th house, this will also bring career rise if you're an Aquarius ascendant. Okay, and you can tend to change things about your career too whenever this happens. Now, if you're a Pisces ascendant, Jupiter is transiting your first house. This is a new start. This is a new beginning. The first house is about changing things and it's about starting anew. Whenever Jupiter transits the first house, you are incredibly happy, optimistic, and hopeful of the future. Okay, so this coming year, April 13th of this year till April 22nd of next year, you're going to feel this energy of happiness. And because it's aspecting the fifth house, you can be closer to children, and you are also going to be searching for truth and spirituality, and any kind of philosophy that you want to pursue. You could be learning new things because it's aspecting the ninth house. But it's beautiful when Jupiter aspects continues to the first house because it does bring in a great sense of happiness. But just one thing to notice is when Jupiter transits your first house, that is, if you are a Pisces ascendant, you could tend to overindulge. So be careful because, Jupiter can make you extremely happy. You could be eating a lot. So it's just something to remember. Okay, don't overindulge. You want to take care of your health. So that is the transit of Jupiter for each of the ascendants. And for this coming year, this is amazing. And I love Jupiter in Pisces. It's always so spiritual and so calming. So it's going to be a beautiful energy. And if you have never had a chart reading before, or if you want to see what's happening this year, or you want to see what's going on with the transits in your chart, feel free to book a reading with me on my website, vedicliving.com. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you next time.